Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening. How is everybody? What is happening? Welcome to the weekly Army List show. Nice to see you all. Lots of people in here. This is episode 193 apparently. So, getting very close to 200. Good evening, everybody in chat. Hello, Mike. Hello, Ardeen. Hello, Terrence. Campbell, Victor, Richard, Redith, VT, Marius. Nice to see you all. Mike, how are you doing? On Wednesday night this week, there is going to be no live battle report because apparently my wife has to go to a meeting about primary school. So I'm stuck in the house on Wednesday night anyway, Marius. So I think on Wednesday night, what I'll do is I'll run through BCP. I'm assuming I can use Best Coast Pairing on my computer, and I can like I'm assuming I can see all. I've been using the app. I'm assuming on the website I can see. Yeah, I can see other people's lists, right? Cool. Yeah. So I'll on Wednesday night stream. I'm going to spend Wednesday night stream, I don't have anything to paint for the tournament, so I'm just going to spend the time going through each list. I'll spend 5 minutes on each list, and I'll try and figure out things that I do not know. I'm playing Mirror Match for the first game. Blood Angels versus Blood Angels. So, I've lost count of the amount of people that have told me that I shouldn't be playing Angelic Inheritors at the moment. I should just be playing Liberator Assault Group, because they are stronger, apparently. I've been told that a lot in YouTube comments in the last couple of months. So, I'm playing Liberator Assault Group first. So it's literally the matchup that everybody tells me that I should lose. So, let's see. I feel like it'll be a good one regardless. There shouldn't be any gotchas, right? So that'll be good. So yeah, we'll go over all the lists that we're fighting on Wednesday night. So that'll be Wednesday night stream. There's a surprising amount of Knights lists, a surprising amount of Tau lists, not too many World Eaters and Death Guard, but Miles sent me a really interesting graphic of like the breakdown of the people. Oh, there's some Emperor's Children as well. So it'll be good. And it's a surprising amount of big Knights lists. Like I looked at 3 or 4 Knights lists that had like 4 big Knights. I was like, oh Jesus. I thought most people did like 1 big knight and a crap load of armatures, but no, I saw at least one list with 3 and one list with 4 big knights, and I was like, oh wow, okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna get fired in. We do have your list on the to-do list as well tonight, Terrence. So let's get started. We're starting with Lynx, who is a new channel member. Okay, yeah, and I should probably say, if you want your list reviewed, what you want to do is at the end of the stream, put your list as text like this into the comment section, right? Like, and then I'll get it. Spoiler: there's not going to be any live content next weekend because guess what? I'm away at a tournament. So yeah, you want to have an Army List show, you want to have a Saturday night hangout next weekend. I am going to release my Dante painting video next weekend, so there will be some content, but nothing live, okay? Cool, alright, so we're starting with Liberator Assault Group, and of this list, 3 Ballistas Dreadnoughts are possible, but I have some Devastators lying around, and thought this is the last hurrah. Okay, so, Captain of the Jump Pack, Captain with Gift of Foresight, Commander Dante. So we're probably going to expect 3 units of Sanguinary Guard. Intercessors, Impulsors, Aggressors, which I don't think are very good right now. Too expensive. Jump Marines, Ballistas Dreadnought, a Devastator Squad, a Lancer, a Hellblaster Squad, Infiltrators, 3 small units of Sandguard, a unit of Scouts, a unit of Scouts, and a unit of Scouts. Alright, well, you've got too many Scouts. Like, I don't think you need 3 units of Scouts. We've got 3 small units of Sanguinary Guard, so that's basically our melee support. Infiltrators are nice to have. Lancer is good to have. I mean, a Lancer, Ballistas, and Devastators is probably okay. Devastators, in my opinion, are not the most fun thing to play because they move 6 inches, and if they move, they get -1 to hit because all their weapons are heavy. So I kind of found playing Devastators a chore. I know Jack played them very effectively in Angelic Inheritors, but I honestly find them a chore to play. So there's a few units here that are like questionable, right? Like Aggressors in a 3-man on foot, Hellblasters in a 5-man. Maybe they're inside the Impulsor. Intercessors probably on foot. And then 3 units of Scouts. I mean, I guess you've got a lot of scoring. I think the thing I worry about in this list is like kill potential, right? Like Assault Intercessors can kill some stuff, but nothing with too high toughness. 3 Aggressors, I guess they could kill some high toughness stuff, but they're slow and they're not exactly durable. Hellblasters and Impulsor, yeah, sure, that kills some elites. Your 3 units of shooting aren't too bad, yeah, that kills some stuff. Infiltrators, decent. Scouts, decent for scoring, but like 3 units of 3 Sanguinary Guard and Liberator Assault Group, I do not think is overly strong. For example, the list that I'm going to be playing against, the tournament is running 15 Sanguinary Guard. I feel much more worried about a list with 15 Sanguinary Guard than I do with a list with 9. Sanguinary Guard are expensive, yes, but they are at their best when they're in Liberator Assault Group, I feel like. I think Hellblasters and Impulsor is kind of quirky. I don't honestly use it. I think Devastators are kind of quirky. I honestly don't use them. And Aggressors, like I've got 6 of them. I think they're a cool unit. I think they need to come down in points. I think at 120 points. 40 points a model for a unit with no invuln is expensive. They're so slow. I was going to say, I need to look at the stats of Aggressors. They don't have advance and charge or anything cool, do they? They're just 5-inch move, toughness 6, that's it, right? 5-inch move, toughness 6. Yeah, I don't even think their weapons are assault anymore, are they? No. Yeah, I mean, I don't think 3 Aggressors is a meaningful pick for Blood Angels. I think, considering you get Blade Guard for like 80 points now, I would take Blade Guard and take that 40 points and do something else with it. Like, take that 40 points there and get rid of the Devastators and upgrade them to something better. See, Kevin says the Twin Link Fists are not too bad. Yeah, I mean, they're strength 10, but you're only going to get 9 attacks from 3 guys, right, Kevin? So you're only going to hit 6 times. Let's say you're going to a tank that's T10, for example. So you make the tank take 4.5 saves, assume that they save on 4s. They fail 2 saves, so like 120 points to do like 4 damage to toughness 10 vehicle. I mean, maybe if you had them in 6 in a 6-man squad, and maybe if you had a captain buffing them or something, or +1 to wound or something, yeah, I could see it, but I still think they're too expensive at 120 points. Centurions are 150 points, and I think they are much better. They have more toughness, more save, more wounds, more melee damage. Like, if you put them side by side, Centurions are not only 30 points better. Because normally, like, Games Workshop charge you like 10 points for 1 toughness. Probably another 10 points for 1 wound. While Centurions have another point of damage as well. And sustain 2 against monsters and vehicles. And they're still twin-linked. And I think Centurions are... Well, I think Centurions are strength 12, right? For Blood Angels, anyway, with the plus 2 to strength. Yeah, they're bonkers better, right? Like more toughness, more save, more wounds. I think more OC actually as well. Yeah, okay, more OC. So you give up an inch of movement, but you get 2 strength on your weapon, an extra damage on your weapon, an extra toughness, an extra save, an extra wound, an extra OC. Like, they're not only 30, and sustain 2 potentially. Like, there's not only 30 points between those units, right? Like, if Centurions are 150 points, that unit of 3 Aggressors needs to be 100 points. Or 105, maybe. Yeah, like in this list, I guess I'd lose a unit of Scouts. I'd probably be forced to lose the unit of Aggressors. That gives me 190 points. I'd probably change this Devastator squad into you said you had another Ballistic Dreadnought. Change it into that. It leaves you 170 points. What can you do with 170 points? You could run 2 units of Outriders. You could run another unit of Jump Intercessors and another unit of Outriders. Or I think you would have enough points to make one of these Sanguinary Guard into a 6-man. And you would also have enough points to give one of these captains like the Fight First enhancement. That would be much improved links. So it's like 2 or 3 small changes in that link. This list is much better. I would love to run Centurions, but at the risk of being Firstborn is scary. Well, yeah, I mean, I only own 3 Centurions, and I'm likely never buying any more because yes, Firstborn models are probably going to Legends. And here's the annoying thing. We've been saying for years, right? Firstborn units are probably going to Legends ever since 10th edition came out. But like, we don't have any clarity on that, which is still annoying. So I feel like the people that know won't buy the Firstborn models, and the new players will get screwed and buy the Firstborn models, and then they'll go to Legends. Hey Phil, thanks so much for being a member for 16 months. Do appreciate it, dude. Happy Mums. We actually do Mother's Day in Scotland at a different time, but happy Mums to everybody in the US, I guess. Aggressors plus Devastators equals 6 Blade Guarded and Impulsor. Yeah, I mean, that's better. 100% better. Yeah, I stopped buying Firstborn stuff whenever they started legendsing all the Firstborn units. Like, when they did that aggressive merge, when they legended like 20 units, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm done with Firstborn. Alright, we're moving on to Terrence's list next. If anyone enjoys tonight's stream, if you could please hit the like button, it does help out ever so much, I'd appreciate it. Alright, Terrence said he is playing Liberator Assault Group. His list is called Born Champions. Alright, let's see. We've got a Jump Pack Captain with a Gift of Foresight, a Chaplain with Speed of the Primarch, a Chaplain with a Jump Pack, and a Lieutenant with a Combi Weapon. So it's like, he's trying to keep the points of all these units reasonably down. Impulsor, 25 Jump Intercessors. So I imagine maybe like 10 of them are with a character. We'll see. Ball Predator, 2 squads of 3 Blade Guard, squad of 3 Incursors, Infiltrators, squad of 3 Outriders, 2 Annihilators, a Destructor, another Destructor. Sorry, 2 Annihilators and 2 Destructors. Okay. And a unit of Scouts. Okay, so I played something similar to this recently, where I played like 2 Annihilators and 2 Ballistic Dreadnoughts. I mean, it gives you a good amount of anti-tank firepower, and you keep it as cheap as possible. I don't dislike it. Unit of Scouts is good, unit of Outriders is good, unit of Infiltrators is good, 2 units of Blade Guard is good. I do worry about only having really Jump Pack Intercessors as your damage dealers here, or use your Jump Pack damage dealers here. I guess you're really reliant on those mortal wounds to help you push things and finish things off. Where do your characters attach? Alright, sadly, at least with Liberator Assault Group, Blood Angel specific units are just overpriced for the versions of generic Space Marine units. For example, 10 Jump Pack Intercessors over Sanguinary Guard, more damage and overall more tanky. A Combi Weapon Lieutenant over Mephiston, same job, less points. Jump Pack Captain over Dante, same job, way less points. Saves you a CP and has access to DW? DW. Devastating Wounds, right? Chaplain and Captain leading 10-man, Foot Chaplain leading 3 Blade Guard reserve and layout are army specific, but I like to have the 10 man with the captain in the air. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. The fight first, Blade Guard disembark behind the vehicle, but are also obscured to be able to heroic whatever charges the impulsor. Overall, it does a lot of mortal wound damage, cheap MSU, and a tank package for versatility. 16 total units. Victor, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Battle Brother, I do appreciate it. That's halfway to the goal for me, so thanks for that, dude. I think Dante is an interesting character, right? Because, like, I wouldn't say his survivability is pretty poor. But his 10 lethal hits attacks, or sorry, 9 lethal hits attacks in Liberator Assault Group and 8 lethal hits attacks in Angelic Inheritors is pretty decent, right? Like, if you can have him play multiple rounds of combat, he can be pretty decent. And occasionally his Infernal Pistol is decent because it's damage D6 and it's sustained. So, like, if you take him to a tournament, once per tournament, you'll sort of pop off and do a lot of damage with his Infernal Pistol. Yeah. But, yeah, so personally, I don't love running Jump Intercessors as my damage dealers primarily. I like Sanguinary Guard, but I understand that Sanguinary Guard are very costly, and I guess that's why people don't like running, say, 15 of them in Liberator Assault Group, and I guess it's why I'm running 3 small squads of them in Angelic Inheritors, because I found it personally very difficult to play 6 Sanguinary Guard because they usually either two things happen. They overkill a unit and they're left in the open, and then they get shot and annihilated because they're not good at they can't stand up to shooting of any magnitude, or they bounce off a target and then they get killed anyway because when they bounce off a target they get fought back against usually. So I've found it very difficult, and I think it is very difficult to play 6 Sanguinary Guard effectively. So no, I get that, and they're crazy expensive, right? Like, you're 260 points. Each guy that dies is like 42 points. It feels horrific. Like, if you lose a 6-man squad of Sanguinary Guard in one turn, it's like, it's demoralizing. Yes, sweetheart.
Can I go downstairs? Mom isn't really important.
Well, if you're going downstairs, you're gonna have to say sorry to Mum, because and do you think Mum's gonna be happy to see you downstairs when she
That's
took?
what I am going to say to her.
Okay. Well, you take that risk because you're in bad books. Okay. Sorry, daughter has been playing up at bedtime. Okay, 4 Predators is reasonably decent. You get a lot of strength 12 firepower out of it, which is something. You've got, what, like 10 las cannons, 4 hunter killer missiles, like, that is decent. Dante is just so expensive, and the Thunderhammer Captain is 4 devastating wounds plus normal wounds. Yeah, I mean, the Thunderhammer Captain is probably 4 devastating wounds per. I mean, I've played him a bunch of times. You usually roll 1/6 with his wound roll, and then you flip another dice to 6. I mean, it's decent, yeah. I mean, Dante has a much higher damage potential, I guess. If you're ever left and, like, your whole squad is dead and all that's left is Dante can actually still mop up like 8 guys a turn, and there's something meaningful to that. Whether or not that happens all that often is neither here nor there. I get it. You could probably argue Dante is slightly expensive, especially because his Battle Shock aura is kind of a worthless rule, right? So yeah, I'm not. Personally, I don't love running Jump Intercessors. I guess they are cheap units that potentially do a lot of damage, but you're just hoping you roll a bunch of 4-ups. You do get to roll a good number of 4-ups, but if we say Sanguinary Guard die pretty effectively and when the enemy shoots them, then Assault Intercessors die crazy effectively when you shoot them. You might have some problems as well with like armies with lots of flamers, because Assault Intercessors aren't going to survive flamer shots. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, right? Like, if we still had the +1 to wound from Oath of Moment, I'd probably be like... Because oh, well, you do have one Blood Angel specific. This is the only Blood Angel specific thing you have in there, a Battle Predator. That's crazy, actually. It's okay. Yeah, I mean, I just think that, like, if you fight... You know, like, the enemy has a Khorne Lord of Skulls or whatever. No, is it the Khorne Lord of Skulls? Yeah, toughness 13, 24 wounds. Like, I'm not entirely sure how you deal with that with a list like this, right? Because your tanks only wound it on 5s, which means you probably don't do enough damage with the tanks. Your intercessors, if they've got +1 to wound, they're only wounding on 5s. So you're very much reliant on spiking some mortal wounds, which personally... I don't love. What did Mum say? Was she happy? Did you say sorry? Alright, are you going to bed now, please? Good. Okay. So yeah, it's a tough one, but I get you're trying to keep things cheap. You're trying to avoid Sanguinary Guard, which you think are overcosted. It's a real pain that Sanguinary Guard and Blade Guard both have exceedingly high points cost for toughness 4 models, I would say. So I guess that's the question. Oh, you're going to use grenades as well. All right. So it really comes down to can you charge from an obscured position? Can you fight against an enemy that has no flamers? Can you use grenades for free because you've got the character attached? Yeah, I mean, jump back intercessors don't mind losing 1 to 3 models. Yeah. Yeah, I just think that, personally, I prefer to run jump intercessors in units of 5 as cheap trading models. Toughness 4 Marines standing on objectives doesn't really work these days, right? 6 Sanguinary Guard exist in this no man's land of usefulness where they can't punch up enough for their points, but are too good not to take, says Kevin. Yeah, I mean... 6 Sanguinary Guard are just a very hard unit to get the most out of, right? Because you have to alpha strike something that you can 100% kill, and then end in a concealed position, and then do it again, and even then you might only just barely break even because the unit's 400 points. It's probably the whole... 6 Sanguinary Guard being so hard to play is probably the whole reason I haven't gone back to playing Liberator Assault Group, and I'm still messing around with Angelic Inheritors, right? Because I just... You know, like, I at the last tournament I was at, I had 6 Sanguinary Guard with Dante. I threw them into a unit of fucking guardsmen, and they bounced off a unit of guardsmen. And it's like, guardsmen are literally toughness 3. Like... Maybe those Death Corpse of Krieger are kind of broken, but, like, sure, you know, like, even if he didn't fail the Battle Shock, but even if he did fail the Battle Shock, he was just going to desperate escape away from the Sanguinary Guard, and the Sanguinary Guard are just going to lit up with plasmas. You're going to lose the whole squad of Sanguinary Guard. You didn't even kill a unit of guardsmen. It's like, oh my god. I'm pretty sure I oathed that unit of guardsmen as well. Or if I didn't oath them, they were led by Dante, so I'm hitting on 2s. So it's like 39 attacks hitting on 2s. And getting shot makes... Yeah, I know, Sanguinary Guard do not like to be shot. It's 100% correct. I tried company heroes to hold an objective. It worked so much, it was glorious. Yeah, I really do like the company heroes, Pana. I'm really sad that I don't have them in my tournament list this time round, but maybe after I fail to do anything in this tournament, I'll finally build that third impulsor I have and just run 3 squads of company heroes. I'd have to buy it. I'd have to actually go and buy a squad of company heroes though, because the 2 that I've got are like jerry-rigged. I think when you buy a squad of company heroes, they come with a captain, right? But they're actually not too expensive. 34, are they? Maybe I need to... Oh, is this an Ultramarines banner? Ugh. Nobody wants that. Hopefully that due's just a transfer, though, is it? It looks like it. Yeah, no one wants this. I'm sure I could get a better banner. I'm sure there's a Blood Angels one we could find. Do I need you to paint the Impulsor? I thought you just got done painting 6 Impulsors or something. Mike. Company heroes are going to eat nerfs again because of Calgar. Yeah, I mean, that's the video I made on Friday. It was like, I'm so sick of Blood Angels units getting nerfed because people in different detachments are doing well with them, right? I think it was better maybe when like Blood Angels had their own codex and every unit for the Blood Angels had points in their own codex. I think that was 8th edition, right? Or was that 7th edition? Hard to say. If you use Oath of Moment rerolls on Sanguinary Guard hitting on 3s, would they not make Dante redundant in place of a jump captain? Yeah, I mean, I think that's what people do, private name, because like, I suppose it depends on if you want Oath of Moment on your tank target, right? Like, I guess that's why I like Dante, because if Dante has them hitting on 2s, then I feel like I can use my Oath of Moment on my range target for my armor. And you know me, I always play like 3 units of armor. So if I've got 3 Vindicator, well, I don't usually field 3 Vindicator tanks. If I've got 2 Vindicator tanks and like a Predator tank, I want them to get rerolls to hit, because I think that makes them a lot stronger. So I think Dante giving the Sanguinary Guard +1 to hit means that they don't need my Oath of Moment. And it's just like, that's just sharing it out, right? That's all that is. That's one thing Dante does let you do. Is that worth 50 points? Hard to say, right? Or maybe 35 points. Judson says it's definitely not. It definitely isn't worth the 50 points, huh? Oh, you had to sand down the Ultramarine the parts. Wow. Okay. Fun times. Okay. If you're not going to run Sanguinary Guard, though, and you're just going to run a crap load of Jump Intercessors, then does it really matter if you hit on 3s, though? Because Jump Intercessors are more about the mortal wounds, per se, than their actual damage output, right? Their mortal wound output is probably more than their damage output. Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I don't run the Sanguinary Guard brick. That's why I'm not running 6 Sanguinary Guard in Dante. It's so expensive, man. It's so hard to play. And if the enemy can counter on you, you know, it's so much to lose. It's like, it's damn close to 400 points, and you can lose it all in a single turn. Okay. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, Terrence, right? If you are, and I don't necessarily disagree with you 100%, right? But let's say I do, let's just say we go with your thinking, where Assault Intercessors with jump packs, because they're cheaper, are just better with Sanguinary Guard, right? Like, if we agree that that is correct, and I think it's very, like, it's very 50-50 for me. They're very even. I mean, I feel like Sanguinary Guard should be better because they're a chapter-specific unit, but I'm happy to agree it's pretty even. But if we agree it's pretty even, then we have a problem. Well, we already have a problem, because we have 13 units in our book or something, and 12 of them are gash. Now you're telling me they're all rubbish, because like the only unit I run out of the Blood Angels Codex is Sanguinary Guard. Is that right? I feel like I have to double check that, but I actually, like, it's pretty depressing that we have, so Dante in Sanguinary Guard, yeah, I use 2 units from the Blood Angels Codex. 1 character, 1 unit. And there's no other choices, right? All the other units are not competitive. So, like, what's So if we're agreeing now that Sanguinary Guard are borderline not competitive, then you're trying to tell me Dante's borderline not competitive. So you're basically telling me you just sold me a book for $45 with nothing competitive in it. Great. I feel so good about Blood Angels this edition. Yeah. Can Sanguinary Guard be run on their own, or should they always be put on a character? You probably actually are, it's fine to run them on their own because they're cheap. It's the only way you can run them cheap, right? Alright, we're looking at Pound's list next. He is actually playing Angelic Inheritors. Cool. He's going to use Desolation Marines. He's going to use Sustained 1, so you can hide them and get Plunging Fire. So he's going to clear out large squads on the midboard objective with reroll of wounds of 1 from your combi weapon lieutenant is incredible. Remember, you get reroll 1s if your Desolation Marines are attached to anything as well. I find Inheritor struggles with trying to kill too many bodies, and they're a nice solution through an indirect fire type of overcosted. That's a weird solution. Although in an indirect fire type of I don't think that makes sense, but yeah. Here's a list I found success with recently, if you're interested. Okay, so Dante the Sanguinary, and 2 captains, and a combi weapon lieutenant. 5 intercessors, 3 devastator centurions. Interesting, I mean, they went down in points. 5 desolation marines. There's nothing that can attach to them. I feel like I would attach a cheap apothecary to them because it would give them reroll 1s all game. Army wide, right? Like, or table wide. Like anywhere they shoot, they would reroll 1s to wound, 1s to hit, right? Infiltrators. Sanguinary Guard. See, this is why I play Angelic Inheritors, because I like the 3-man units of Sanguinary Guard. I think this is the best way you can run Sanguinary Guard at the moment, in my personal opinion, because yes, they are so expensive. If they were 120 points, would that make a difference in terms of playing 6 of them? I don't know. Blood Angels Jump Infantry is hard to play right now. I mean, if you compare it to last edition, where every single member of the Sanguinary Guard got to run an Infernal Pistol, and every single member of the Death Company got to run, what was it, an Infernal Pistol or Thunderhammer, like, it is much worse. Well, I mean, last edition used to be able to run Blood Angels without any tanks. Like, we just don't see that anymore, right? Scouts, Ballistus Dreadnought, 2 Lancers. Okay, this is a very like big enemy type list. I almost put a Baal Predator inside my army list, Colin. Did we get our codex early in 9th edition? Not that early. Like a year. Like we had it like last summer. And when it first came out, well, I mean, when it first came out, no, do you know what? We were stronger before it came out, because before it came out, you could run the Sanguinary Guard in 10s, and they could all have Infernal Pistols, and you could run the Death Company in 10s, and they could all have Infernal Pistols. Yes, sweetheart.
This is a picture, and it has lots of kisses, and it's for you.
Okay. Wait. Thank you.
It's a picture of you.
It's a picture of me. Wow. That is such a nice picture. Did you draw that all yourself? You forgot my beard?
Oh.
You always forget my beard. You'll do another one. Are you not supposed to be sleeping, sweetheart? Yeah, So our codex came out, the Death Company got neutered into oblivion, and here's the thing, with the Sanguinary Guard, we were very happy to finally get an Invuln save, but we, and they did need an Invuln save, I think, but again, and we were very happy to get another point of AP. So they pulled the wool over our eyes with that extra point of AP and Invan save, and in massive. So Sanguinary Guard used to be 31 points per model, and they went up to 45. Now they're at like 43. Yeah, it's rough. Okay, so we run the 3 units of Sanguinary Guard. We run the 2 Gladiator Lancers, and we run the Ballistus Dreadnoughts. We run the Desolation Marines and the Devastators. So yeah, so this list is going to try and pick up low toughness enemies with the Desolation Squads. The reason I would like to attach the character to the Desolation Squads is so you can make them lone operative, dude. It would be 50 points to find an apothecary you can attach there that makes them lone operative. You've got the Centurions, which bring a good amount of firepower with the twin-linked las cannons and the missiles. You've got the 2 Lancers, you've got the Ballistus Dreadnought. I mean, you've got a good amount of shooting. You've got the Scouts for scoring. You've got the Infiltrators for backfield screening. You've got the Intercessors for potential. And then you've got the Sanguinary as well. 13 distinct units is like borderline. Like when I was building my tournament list this week, I really was trying to get 14 distinct units because 13 feels like... am I playing on Wednesday? No, I'm not, Colin, because it's a meeting for the Annabella's primary school. So I'm just going to run over the lists on Wednesday night and try and figure out what the hell we're playing against. Because I noticed the Necron list had... One of the Necron lists has like 4 Catans, I think. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it had... I'm pretty sure it had 4 Catans. I rolled my eyes a little bit when I saw that. Let me see. Oh, it's 5 Catans on the Silent King. Cool. My favourite. God. Competitive 40k, eh? The pistols are... Yeah, by limiting it to 1 pistol in the squad, they do nothing. They literally do nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna hope that I don't play against 5 Catan, that's for sure, or 4 Catan in the Silent King. Cool. But yeah, 10th edition Codex hasn't been... You got a new one for me. Yeah, and now after this picture, it's definitely going to be time for bed. Oh, look, you've got the beard right now and everything. Yeah, and how many kisses did I get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 kisses, that's lovely, thank you. Now remember, you've got nursery in the morning, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so is it time for sleep?
Mm-hmm.
No more drawing then. Right, get into bed and pull up your covers. I'll come see you when I'm finished, okay? Promise me? Say I promise, please. Right. Literally 50-50, she'll be back in 5 minutes, honestly. Win at all costs complaints. Yeah, I know. I mean, I literally tried to tailor my list so I played Andrew's Death Guard. Sorry, Andrew's World Eaters or Colin's Death Guard. I got a winning chance against them. So, you know, I'm struggling. I feel like it's hard to build Angelic Inheritors list. Like, looking at this one, I feel like this list, like, it has a lot of vehicle firepower, right? Like, Centurions will kill vehicles. Desolation Marines can kill vehicles. Ballistus Gladiator Lancers can all kill vehicles. So then you ask an awful lot of these 3 units of Sanguinary Guard if you're fighting into elites, because Lancers aren't great against elites. I imagine Desolation Marines are actually okay against elites, but can they see them? You don't have a ton of board presence with this list, I feel like, as well. And that's something that I feel like Angelic Inheritors can struggle with, because... You know, you've got your combi weapon lieutenant you can put on an objective, and you get your Sanguinary lone op, but you don't actually have very much durability you can put down on objectives, right? I suppose you could have your Centurions stand on an objective, but do you want that because you want the Centurions to live? Yeah, the Centurions blast missiles. I'm familiar with Devastator Centurions, dude. I played them. I've definitely played them this edition. Maybe not played them at a tournament, but I've definitely played them. I mean, point for point, they're one of the best units we get, right? Because they've got 3 las cannons, and if you're shooting on an objective, you can reroll ones. You can reroll hits, I think, and you shooting anywhere else, you can reroll ones. So, like, because they're twin link las cannons, because they've got like arguably like up to 6 or 8 missiles, I think they're solid. So I like the killing power of this list. I dislike that you only have 13 drops, and I dislike, like, I don't know what you're like. There's an objective in the middle of the map, right? What are you sitting in the middle of the map that you don't care about losing? Because that's the trick, right? Sometimes, yes, you might be able to sit that combi weapon lieutenant in the middle of the map against a shooting army. If you're playing World Eaters, well, they're just gonna move into the middle with some unit that can advance and charge and then kill the combi weapon lieutenant, right? And I think that's the tricky part. Or they're just going to touch the middle objective with 3 8-bound, and then you don't own it anyway with your 1 OC combi weapon lieutenant guy. And I think that's the tricky thing that I'm finding in Angelic Inheritors, right? I mean, you can do it with impulsors to a certain extent. You park impulsors on objectives, they can at least survive. They don't give you a great OC on the objectives, but they do at least survive. And they do protect units as well. So it's a tricky one, right? The problem, I suppose, with the impulsors is, like, you put Blade Guard in them, they're only Strength 5. Strength 5 Blade Guard aren't that meaningful. Yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the Lieutenant with the Revive as well. I think it's good, but I think that, like, the Revive is as much of a tool as I fucked up my placement as actually meaningful, right? Like, because I've played the Revive on that Lieutenant, like, 10 times now. Well, ever since LVO. So when was LVO? Like February? January? February? I've literally had that Revive LVO 2025. Yeah, it was January. So basically, I've been playing that Combi Weapon Lieutenant for 4 months with the Revive. And I want to say, like, it feels like only in, like, let's say 2 games the Revive felt really meaningful. There's just times where you're playing orcs, you can't be that far forward. You're playing World Eaters, you can't be that far forward, because they're just going to pick them up. Pana's playing Death Guard this week on Wednesday. Good luck, dude. I got crushed by Death Guard. Their new rules are very, very strong. If they've got those if they've got the bloat drones and they've got the PBCs, you got some real problems. If they've got 3 PBCs, it might even be an idea to not start any of your Sanguinary Guard on the board, just start them all in reserve. Because the PBCs are ridiculous now. They're just splashing mortal wounds around like everything. So yeah, so I think none of your choices are bad, Pound. I think I would personally try and find an apothecary for here. If you don't think you need it, you don't think you need it. But I might also be willing to try and find something durable. Because that's what I try to add to my list, right? Like, I cut Outriders from my list. I added them back in. Because I think Outriders... This is Angelic Inheritors. I think Outriders are a very useful unit for only 80 points. And if my Outriders sit in cover the entire game and score points, I feel like that could be worth it. And the Combi Weapon Lieutenant is an interesting one, because I get he's strong, but there's certain armies he just doesn't seem to work against. It's a tough one. I'll know more. I'm running Angelic Inheritors next week. I'm glad you said that, Colby, because I was really on the fence about running or putting some Outriders back in. All right, we're looking at a 1250 point list next. It's not a point number we normally look at, but I got a submission So I thought I would have a quick look at 1,250 points. It's Liberator Assault Group. It's Mephiston, a foot captain with company heroes and a repulsor. A jump pack captain leading 3 Sanguinary Guard, a lone 3-man Sanguinary Guard, the Vindicator tank, the Ballistus tank, the Infiltrators, and a scout unit running around and taking points. Okay, yeah, I mean, 1,250 points. It's an interesting one, right? Because it's like, all these things are pretty good. Vindicator tank is pretty good. Ballistus Dreadnought is pretty good. 2 3-man Sanguinary Guard is pretty good. Company heroes with a captain safely and a repulsor is pretty good. Mephiston's pretty good. Infiltrators is good, and then scouts is good as well. The only play you've got for changing this is to probably, like, you know, probably it would probably be like change a repulsor to an impulsor. Saves you like 100 points. Lose the 3-man lone unit of Sanguinary Guard because they are crazy expensive. You're at 230 points. What do you do with those 230 points? Like, I think you could do like 2 units of Blade Guard and another unit of Scouts or something. I think in this size of battle, you probably want lots of more little units. He needs Assault Intercessors. Yeah, I was thinking that. Assault Intercessors, the jump packs. 2 units of them is 180. Then he'd be left with 50 points. There's not a whole lot you can do with 50 points. But yeah, I kind of agree. 2 units of Jump Intercessors would work. 2 units of Blade Guard might work. Some Outriders might work. I think the point would be to take the Repulsor down to an Impulsor, lose those 3-man Sanguinary Guard, and try and put in 3 units. So you're losing 2 units, but you're adding 3. I don't quite know how you could do that. The only other option would be to lose Mephiston, and he is very expensive. Like when we were making my tournament list this week, I was considering Mephiston, but the reason I don't want him is I feel like his wound rolls in Angelic Inheritors aren't good enough, and I feel like his damage output in Liberator Assault. So I think I don't personally take Mephiston for his damage. I don't think it's good enough. So if his damage isn't good enough for 135 points, could you just argue it would be better to have like the Combi Weapon Lieutenant for like 70 points, and then just have like another unit of Jump Intercessors? Like just change Mephiston into a cheaper lone op character. Lose those 3 Sanguinary Guard, change the Repulsor to an Impulsor, and then you could have 2 units of Jump Intercessors and a unit of Blade Guard. Probably. I think that would be more meaningful. Who in chat actually runs Mephiston? Like, who is using him game after game and feeling like he is really good? Because I honestly was like... Well, I had to submit my tournament list yesterday, and I was honestly looking at Mephiston, because he has... thanks so much for subscribing, Valerie. He has a lot of different attack profiles, but I was like... I just didn't think anything stood out at me as, like, super meaningful. And see these focused Witchfires with, like, sustained 3. Like, how often does this come up? I think I played Mephiston, like, 10 times this edition. I get the sustained 3 happen, like, 1 time. I don't know, man. I have run him for the last 4 games and he's getting replaced. There we go. Good answer. Yeah, so in this list I'd probably lose Mephiston, lose 3 Sanguinary Guard, lose a Repulsor, add an Impulsor, and if you can just add 3 units of Jump Intercessors, I think that would be perfect, right? You would save 100 points with a Repulsor, you'd save 130 there. Mephiston to Combi Weapon Lieutenant, I think saves you 55. Yeah, I mean... That is 3 units of Jump Intercessors. And then you can give your captain leading the Sanguinary Guard that enhancement, Gift of Foresight, to get Devastating Wounds. That would be the change for me. I think Jump Intercessors and 5-man units are very good in 2,000 points. I think they're even better in 1,000 points. Alright, Colby. Oh, I just saw you in the chat a minute ago. Perfect. Let's see what Colby's got. I took this list in RT2 this weekend. I came out 2-1. I beat Nids and Necrons. Oh, well done on beating Necrons, because fucking everybody gets beat by them. I lost in the middle to Aeldari. They had 4 squads that always had fight first, and I could have injured 1 squad fight first each combat. What might help? Yeah, fight first is an absolute nightmare. Which squads had fight first? Like Banshees or something like. I have like 5,500 points of Aeldari, and I have the Codex. I should know this. And I did a video on the Codex. Yeah, I feel like I should definitely know this. Banshees have fight first? I can't think of what else has got fight first. The Land Raiders have 1 with 6 Flamestorm Aggressors and 1 with 12 Blade Guard. And a Jump Captain with Jump Intercessors and Deep Strike. I like 12 Blade Guard. Not many people use them. They use the Incubi detachment. Alright, I'm drawing a complete blank. I don't know where my Elder Codex is right now. This is why my Wednesday night stream is going to be looking at the enemies that I'm going to be facing at this tournament, because I don't know where the hell I put the Elder Codex. That's how important the Elder Codex is to me. I don't even know where I put it. Alright, Captain with the Jump Pack, Intercessors, Aggressors, the 6-man squad. Man, if these guys need to come down to like 220. I'm trying to remember what they were when I played them in the tournament earlier this edition. I think they were 220, maybe they were 200. Alright, 3 10-man Jump Intercessors. Wow. 2 Blade Guard squads, 2 Land Raiders, 3 Outriders, and Scouts. So this would have been... You would have been getting the +1 to Oath of a Moment bonus with... You would have been getting the +1 to Oath of a Moment bonus. With Bloodless Angels. Valerie, hello. Thank you so much for the 10.99. I must admit, I do not know what a BNG is. A BGN? I really appreciate your content. When wondering how does list submission for discussion work, it's very simple, dude. You just put your list like this text. When this stream ends, put it into the comment section, and we'll get you on a future video. Thank you very much for the super chat. I do very much appreciate it. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know, but it's as simple as that. What is a BGN? I don't know what currency that is. I don't have a Scooby what currency is this. I was thinking the other day, a Bulgarian dollar. Okay, cool. I was trying to count the other day how many countries I've actually been to. I don't know why, but I think my daughter asked me, how many different countries have you been to? And I think I've been to 10. It seems less than I thought I might have been to, but I think I've been to 10 countries. Okay, Bulgaria. Well, welcome to the channel, dude. I have actually no idea where Bulgaria is on a map. I was going to say, I think it's near... I was going to say, let me guess. It's going to be like 2 countries. It's going to be south of Poland, right? I'm guessing. Oh yeah, look at south of Poland. Yeah, I said 2 countries south of Poland. I was pretty darn close. Look at that. Probably 3 countries if we went: Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria. Okay, yeah, no, I've never been there, anywhere near there. I've been to Prague, so that's the closest I've ever been. I've never been to Italy, Greece, Turkey, any of these places. I've been to Prague. I liked Prague. Wow, okay. Prague is actually the furthest east I've ever been. Yeah. Cool, thanks so much. Appreciate it. It's okay. We didn't take the euro here in Scotland either. We felt I don't know. I'm being silly. Yeah, we were part of the European Union, but we didn't take their money for some reason. Whatever. So 3 units of Outriders is good for early board presence. Scouts is good. 12 Blade Guard. Strength 7. See, I would love to attach some chaplains to these Blade Guard, because I think the chaplains make the Blade Guard much, much scalier. You only get your +1 to wound one place in your battle with Blood Angels. If you're coming up against 4 fight first enemies, that is a problem, and there's only so much you can do against that. Either tank shock would help, but like it might be difficult to get the Land Raider to where it needs to be to tank shock. I guess the assault intercessor's mortal wounds will also help against fight first, but they're only going to help so much. It depends if 6 mortals is going to do enough damage to them that neuters their fight first. We used to be able to deal with fight first with the Death Company, right? And that was the tactic. Like, I used that when I won the GT last summer, was charge the enemy with the Death Company, charge their fight first unit with the Death Company. They go, haha, I'm going to fight first. I just go, haha, I'm going to fight on death. And it cost 2 CP, and it was a guaranteed fight on death. And if you remember last summer, 5 Death Company with a chaplain, that was 25 Power Fist attacks, re-rolling all hits at strength 10. So yes, they would wipe your whole squad, but guess what? You would wipe their squad right back at them. So the Death Company were very, very useful against Fight First last edition, and I guess we don't have that now. So shooting Fight First, grenading Fight First, tank shocking Fight First is probably the way that you have to deal with them. 2 Land Raiders are a tough unit to make work, right? Because I think if you double down and go 2 Land Raiders, it makes it much harder than to play 1 Land Raider. Like, I would play, if you're dead set on, like, if this is your list and you are dead set on the Aggressors inside the Land Raider, which, spoiler, is a bit of an overcosted combination at the moment. Aggressors are a little bit too expensive. They should be more like 20 or 30 points cheaper. If you're dead set on the 2 Land Raiders, or I actually think that makes it harder for you. Like, I think that a better option would be to do like 1 Land Raider, maybe put the Aggressors into reserve, so you bring the Aggressors in from reserve, so you can still have your 12 Blade Guard inside the Land Raider, and then use the 240 points from that Land Raider for like another unit of shooting, like a Ballistus Dreadnought, and drop like 1 unit of Outriders, or drop one of these units of 10 to 5, and add like a few more shooting options. Shooting that has versatility is good. Assault Centurions and Land Raider. Yeah, I mean, if you have Assault Centurions, you could run 3 Assault Centurions. They would 3 Assault Centurions is honestly probably as useful as 6 Aggressors. Speaking of Death Company, is Astroth viable to lead 10-man jump squad compared to Lamartes? I probably wouldn't lead them with Astroth. I've played them with Astroth, and here's the problem with Astroth, right? You get no plus to your wound roll. So if you fight anything that's toughness, let's say 11 or higher with Astroth, you only wound on 5s, and you need 6s for dev wounds. And here's the thing, like, I think I ran 10 Death Company and Astroth into like a knight of sorts. And I barely rolled a single 6. And basically, I scratched the paint job of the knight. I think it lost like 3 wounds. So Astroth is actually a bad option to lead Death Company at the moment, because a regular chaplain with +1 to wound all the time, or Lamartes with lethal hits all the time, is realistically going to be much more reliable. So it's a tough one, yeah. I mean, Astroth's a cool model, but on the table, it's hard to make him work. The fight on death, I guess, 50-50 fight on death. Maybe he would lead 5 Death Company, and it's not the worst idea. But it's not my personal preference to run him at all at the moment. Alright, yeah. I think I'll try and avoid 2 Land Raiders. I've played 2 Land Raiders, and I think that they're big, and they get in each other's way, and some armies can deal with them very, very effectively. I think you want your shooting split up into lots of smaller units if you possibly can. The aggressors on paper are a little bit weak. It would be totally fine to take one of your assault intercessors with jump packs down to 5-man. I think if you can add a chaplain to any of those Blade Guard squads, that's very meaningful. Here's the reason I would add a chaplain to one of these as almost the top priority, right? In pretty much any game that you play with Blood Angels at the moment, there is going to be a turn, it's probably going to be turn 2 or turn 3, where you want to charge with multiple units, right? That will literally happen in every game. When you can only give one unit +1 to wound, you have a real problem, because every unit's going to need +1 to wound. And I know things have changed quite a bit since I won the GT in the summer, but when I won the GT in the summer, every single unit except the Sanguinary Guard, I think, was attached to Chaplain. And my thoughts behind that was, I can only get +1 to wound one place from this one stratagem. So I'm going to always use that stratagem on the Sanguinary Guard with Dante. And everybody else is going to get +1 to wound because the Death Company are led by a regular Chaplain. The Blade Guard are led by a regular Chaplain. And that sort of carried my list to victory, because it just meant every time I charge, I'm getting +2 strength and +1 to wound on every unit. And that is actually, like, that's sort of like a tipping point for Blood Angels. Like, +2 strength on its own, not so meaningful. +2 strength with +1 to wound, very meaningful, right? For example, like, Blade Guard start wounding enemy Terminators on 2s at that point, you know. Jump Intercessors wounding enemy Terminators on 3s. Sanguinary Guard wounding enemy Terminators on 2s, you know, like, it's meaningful, right? But it's much harder to do now, right? How would you play a Unit 5 Death Company with Astroth? Yeah, a 5-man unit, or even a 3-man unit with a character in reserve every single game is very important, is very decent, right? Like, I'm sure I've made a video on strategic reserves for Blood Angels, right? I mean, probably if there's a question that you have about Blood Angels, yeah, like, just put it into YouTube, like, strategic reserves Blood Angels. Here I am, like, the third video. Look, check on the years, right? Because this video I made 3 years ago is probably going to be less relevant to the one that I made 1 year ago. But here's a video I made one year ago saying how to win games using reserves in 10th edition 40k for Blood Angels, right? It's funny sometimes, because sometimes, greetings, brother, either I suck at video titles, or just people don't or people don't or YouTube doesn't put the videos in front of the right people. But, like, you know, like, here's the 5 bullet points for the video, like how you use reserves, like charge chances, rapid ingress, how you score, other reasons, like if you genuinely have a Blood Angels question, I feel like I would have probably answered it in a video. You just got to search for it, right? New videos come out every Friday, by the way. So if you want to, like, subscribe to the channel and put on an alert, they usually drop at 1 p.m. UK time on Friday, which is like 8 a.m. East Coast America. But yeah, I mean, very rarely does a Friday go past where I don't put out a video, right? Like, that's my schedule. I've kind of made this like a part-time job for myself, where I try and be consistent and get a video out every Friday. Okay, Tommy. Hi John, this is an alternative deployment for 40k League and RTT list, which I'm pleased with. I think it's a strong all-rounder list. Lots of MSU. Alright, so he's got 21 units. Is this unique units, or is it just... We'll see. Dante, a captain on foot, captain on the jump pack, chaplain on foot, combat weapon lieutenant, 5 intercessors, 10 jump intercessors in 2 squads, 3 blade guard, company heroes, incursors, infiltrators, reavers, Sanguinary Guard, 3s, scouts, outriders, ballistas, lancer, impulsor. Okay, I don't... So lots of MSU. 2 impulsors, 2 tanks, that's 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, and the lone operative. So 17 unique drops. I don't know why I didn't say that. Okay, here's the thing I don't like about this list is you've got a Lancer and the Ballistas Dreadnought. I feel like this is absolutely the bottom line of what is acceptable for shooting. Like 300 points on shooting, 1 Lancer, 1 Ballistas Dreadnought. You will have trouble with this list, I feel like into... I mean, I feel like New Death Guard is a good example where like their entire army is T9 or higher potentially. So what have we got that's good against T9? Well, Jump Intercessors not so much. Blade Guard, no. Company Heroes, no. Aggressors, no. Reavers, no. Sanguinary Guard are strength 8 in this detachment, so they're going to need... The captain will make them strength 9. They're still going to need your Red Rampage nonsense. Scouts, not so much. Outriders, not so much. So, like, if this list, for example, like, this could be said about New Death Guard, this could be said about Knights, and this is a thing that you need to consider if you're making a Blood Angels list. Like, if this list goes into Knights, and, like, I just saw the lists for the tournament that I'm going to, and there's, like, 4 toughness... There's a list that's got 4 toughness 12 Knights. This list is going to have a hell of a time against toughness 12 Knights, because those toughness 12 Knights will instantly target these 2 tanks that you've got, and then you will have nothing that actually can kill Knights effectively. Everything will be wounding on 5s or 6s, and maybe 1 unit of 3 Sanguinary Guard can wound on 4s, but 3 Sanguinary Guard wounding on 4s is not going to be do meaningful damage to Knights quick enough to win you the game, right? This is Liberator Assault Group, so you've got a lot of attacks. I think that you need more firepower, and I guess this is why... Like, I think in Liberator Assault Group you should have at least 3 tanks, minimum. I did make a Liberator Assault Group 101 slideshow how to deal with, or how to build a list. A squad of Incursors, when you only have 2 shooting... Like, Incursors give you +1 to hit. Cool. You should have enough to benefit from that +1 to hit. I don't think a 2-shot Lancer and a 4-shot Ballista Dreadnought is enough to benefit from the Incursors. So in this list, I almost think the Incursors are a bit of a waste. I like the Jump Intercessors. The sticky objectives, take it or leave it for me. You've got Infiltrators that are going to sit in the back line. You've got the Combi Weapon Lieutenant that's going to scout an objective. You've got a unit of Scouts as well, right? So, like, I think sticky objective Intercessors are kind of worthless. I know some people like them. I'm personally not a huge fan. So I think you could take those 160 points and easily repurpose them to a tank. I think Reavers are a cool unit, but they're also very much going to kill infantry. Annabella, it is now 9:15. Why are you not asleep yet? What are you doing? Come in here, please.
Now I'm sweaty.
Right, it's too sweaty in your bed. Okay. Right, stand in front of that fan there for 2 minutes, and then I want you to go and lie down. I want you to try really hard to go to sleep, because you've got nursery in the morning, sweetheart. You'll be really tired in the morning. If Mum finds out that you're still awake, Mum will be angry. You're supposed to be in sleep at 7:30. Sweetheart, please, promise me you'll try and go to sleep. Okay? Give me a hug. Come here then. Come on. I'll come through and I'll lie down with you as soon as I'm done here. About 10 more minutes. But you try really hard to get to sleep, okay? Please? Please go lie down then. All right. I think we've touched on it. Intercessors. If you go downstairs and speak to Mum again, she's going to be angry with you. But you go downstairs if you want, sweetheart. I swear, I don't even know why I speak, Mike. No one listens to me. I'm glad you guys listen, because my family, or at least the kids, don't listen. Alright. Her mum will be angry if she goes downstairs again. You know, like, it's like, I'm telling you, like, I know your mum, she'll be angry, but she'll be saying the exact same things that I am. Why the hell are you still up? Okay, let's move on to Jeffrey Pooh. That's how I feel. Poo. Poo 88. Well, I was born a few years before that, but yeah, sure. Poo 88. That's how I feel. Is allying a knight yourself an option instead of tanks? Perhaps a paladin. I think if you're going to ally an option, a knight in Valyria, I would, or Valyri, is that how you say it? I would personally ally in a Castellan knight. Because I feel like Blood Angels provide a lot of melee power. So you want probably just some, Castellan Knight's got a 2-up save, it's got toughness 13, right? It's got a lot of wounds. It's probably the most annoying and obnoxious. I think I would ally in the Castellan, and I would blow up enemy tanks every turn, and then let your melee units take over the battlefield that way, if you can. I probably still need to buy a Castellan Knight at some point. Right, go to bed now. Right, Annabella, you're starting to really get upset me. Right, guys, we'll back in a minute. What? Come on, sweetheart. Right, so I literally said, don't go downstairs because your mum will be angry. And she's gone downstairs. Guess what? Mum was angry. And now she's crying because mum was angry. I'm like, okay. Alright. Jeffrey is playing his first tournament at the end of May. Cool, good luck, Jeffrey. Liberator Assault Group, Dante, Mephiston, the Rage-Fueled Captain, Chaplain on a bike, which we don't see very often these days, and a Captain with Fight First. Alright, 2 small units of Sanguinary Guard. Cool, that'll be the Captain and Dante. 3 Outriders, I guess they were the Chaplain. 5 Jump Intercessors, 5 Infiltrators, 5 Assault Intercessors. I guess these guys are on foot, probably with the Rage Captain. 5 Scouts. So you got the Impulsor for the Rage Captain. You got a Vindicator, you got a Lancer, you got a Battle Predator, you got a Ballista Dreadnought, you got an Invader ATB. Okay. Pretty good looking chair though. Thanks, dude. It's the Frostmourne chair from World of Warcraft, right? I like that expansion. Evening, Stu. How you doing? Could you give a comparison between a 3-man unit of Sanguinary Guard with a captain vs a 10-man Jump Intercessor squad with a chaplain? Do you know what? That's the second time that's been asked tonight. They're probably exceedingly similar in points. Oh yeah, they're only 15 points apart. I should probably read the whole damn sentence, shouldn't we? I plan on adding one or the other when the Vindicator, Battle Predator goes to Legends. Keep up the good work. Okay, yeah, let's do this as a video. I already did 10-man Jump Intercessor squad with a Chaplain against Death Company. Lamartes plus 10. So let's do that. That'll be a bit of an arse of a video to try and make. Because probably have to do it for Liberator Assault Group and Angelic Inheritors, but we could probably do some math. My feeling is that personally I prefer running the 3 Sanguinary Guard and the Captain, because it's much smaller footprint and it's easier to hide. But yeah, I bet you when you compare those two things in damage, just because the jump intercessors with the chaplain will have like 50 attacks with +1 to wound. I bet you the jump intercessors actually ironically outdamage the Sanguinary Guard. When you factor in the fact that they can do like 11, 12 mortals, I feel like there's no chance the Sanguinary Guard can outdamage that. Because if they roll like 6 mortals, that's bonkers already. The chap, yeah, because it would be like 54 attacks, most of which are 1 damage, against like 19 attacks, most of which are 2 damage. Yeah, it's pretty depressing actually. It's pretty depressing to just say like 10 jump man intercessors with a chaplain is probably better than the Death Company, and it's probably better than the Sanguinary Guard. But if you just math it out in terms of raw damage output, it probably is, man. But yeah, you're so as far as this list goes, right? Like, I feel like character-wise, you're very heavy. That is probably the best part of 500 points on characters, and I think that's a bit high. You also maybe, I mean, you've got 1 unit of Outriders and you've got 1 unit of Impulsors. It does give you something to hold objectives with. Ball Predator could hold objectives with. Unique unit wise, 6, 8, 10, 12. You're probably a little bit low. 13. Probably borderline just have enough unique units. Maybe a tiny bit low. Yeah, 13 is right on the line there. 3 tanks is good. Or like 3 las cannon type tanks is good. The Ball Predator in there is sort of a bonus. You've got the ATV to do some actions. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's decent. I think if it was me, I'd probably lose a couple. I'd probably try and lose a character. I feel like the chaplain on the bike is possibly the least meaningful. Yeah, I think probably the chaplain on the bike. How many points is he at these days? I mean, I think he's about the same as cost as 3 Outriders, right? He's like 5 points cheaper than 3 Outriders. I mean, you can probably make 5 points by changing the Invader ATV to Tech Marine. So I'd probably do that, like... because having a second squad of... like, I don't particularly think Outriders need to be led by anything in Liberator Assault Group. Like, you just charge with them. They're strength 7. They're 2 damage. They're like 15 attacks. I think they're good enough for 80 points. And if they die, they die. So I think I'd probably do that. And I think Tech Marine would be meaningful here, right? Like, make some of these tanks a little bit more reliable, keep some of them alive an extra turn. He's a lone operative. When inevitably a tank dies, he buffs himself to like quite a lot of attacks. So that's it. Stu, good evening. How are you? Guys, if you get 2 seconds before you peace out tonight, please do leave a like on the stream. We are moving into the final list for this evening. If you want, sorry for all the disruptions. My kids just apparently, it's getting to the summer, so it's getting very hot. So I guess it's hard for my kids to fall asleep. So there's no Army List show next week because I have a GT next weekend and I will be exhausted by 8 PM on a Sunday. So, but if you want to leave your list, we'll get you on. If you're a channel member or you do super chats or Patreon or whatnot, we'll get you on the 25th. That'll be the plan. Okay. I'm going to write down Valeri did remind me to do that. Where the hell did I save that notepad file? Hello, Seal. How are you doing? Alright, cool. Valeri. Oh, Seal just found out that he is having a boy. I just want to ask if Dante's Battleshock Aura test is any good. I do not rate Dante's Battleshock Aura very highly. I feel like when you need it to go off, it doesn't go off. When you don't need it to go off, it does go off. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Dante's Battleshock Aura, I must admit. But congrats, dude. That's awesome. I didn't know... Well, I guess I don't know that everybody in chat's personal circumstances, but congratulations. I have a boy and they're great fun, so you've got a lot to look forward to. My boy is 3 and he's just starting to get super excited about Transformers. Annabella, you are going to be in so much trouble if Mum knows you're out of bed again. That's like 6 times tonight now. Right, give me your drawing pad. We are done doing any more drawing. You're done. Give me it now. Right, no more drawing. Into bed. Into bed now, please. Jesus Christ. Okay, final list. Stalking. This is Seal build. It's all rainbows and happiness. That couldn't have happened at a better time. To be fair, her bedtime was 2 hours ago. So if I wasn't streaming, I would have literally just gone through and cuddled her till she falls asleep. I'm going to do that after this list. Okay. Stalking. We are looking at Liberator Assault Group. Obviously Dante is leader, and we've got Speed of the Primarch. We've got Dante, the Terminator with Speed of the Primarch, the Chaplain. Cool. I think that's a good choice. I think the Chaplain with +1 to wound on the Terminator squad is really meaningful. 2 units of Jump Intercessors, 2 units of Blade Guard, 3 units of Sanguinary Guard. The Terminator Assault Squad I don't love, because I think that their Thunder Hammers are really bad. Maybe you're running the Lightning Claws. 2 units of regular Terminators, 2 Ballistic Dreadnoughts, a Lancer, and an Impulsor. I guess by keeping the characters so low, right, like just 2, you actually get like so many units here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So you still have 14 drops, but you got so many good drops, right? Like 3 Terminator squads, 3 Sanguinary Guard squads, 2 Blade Guard squads, 2 Jump Intercessor squads. I think a lot of people struggle. 2 Ballistic Dreadnoughts as well, and a Lancer. I think a lot of people struggle to not attach a load of characters. And I guess you should, like, I should probably try this as well. You should probably all try building like a list. Because Liberator Assault Group doesn't need characters. Angelic Inheritors does. Liberator Assault Group doesn't. Everything's good when it's charging. So we should all probably try that as an exercise where you limit yourself to 2 characters or something, and you actually just see how many solid units you can get. Because, Terminator squads are all strength 10, Sanguinary Guard squads are strength 8, Blade Guard are strength 7, Jump Intercessors are strength 6. It's all good, right? So it's a little off the wall, but it does have some clear advantages. Advantages is a good bit tougher to shift than a lot more standard lists I've been running, while still having plenty of units to score. While there's a lot of damage 3 across the game, and most of it's shooting, damage 3 is less common than damage 2. Much of that AP reaches 4++ without cover. It maintains a healthy mix of anti-tank, anti-elite, and anti-horde. In Liberator Assault Group, we punch up. Even though Terminators are slow, Advance and Charge helps a lot. Advance and Charge is huge, actually, on like slower units. Advance and Charge is also very good on Blade Guard. And even Sanguinary Guard, right? Disadvantage: the lack of character support, and the other 2 squads of Sanguinary Guard make it a little bit less durable in melee, but it doesn't particularly hurt them offensively. Here's the thing: when Sanguinary Guard get focused, they just die. I don't know if -1 to... Like, sometimes -1 to hit and wound is very good, but most of the time it feels like it's not that impactful. I unfortunately can't deep strike anything, but the Chaplain and Terminator armor plus Assault Terminators as well as Dante with Sanguinary Guard gives me 2 very offensive threats that can ingress for good effect. This list also wants to kill the enemy, so there isn't much for screening, in particular not having any infiltrators. Oh, and didn't notice that you don't have any infiltrators. In that case, I'd personally, let's say this was me, I'd drop a unit of Terminators, especially the Assault ones, which I think are rubbish. I would take a squad of Infiltrators, and I would use those 80 points for a unit of Outriders, because Outriders are fast and durable, and they have that strength 7. So just replace whatever the Terminator Assault squads were doing, probably trying to be durable somewhere. Just use 3 units of, just use your 3 Outriders, and then keep your Infiltrators to score some points. Snowy Days, I didn't see a list from you. We can try and get you fast tracked on next week's show. Usually I reply to everybody that's going on this week's show. Occasionally Dante's Battle Shock unit is impactful, but it doesn't happen all that often. 60 Assault Intercessors for 900 points. Spam the center. Wow, you can really have 60 Assault Intercessors for 900 points. Okay. I mean, you're very vulnerable to blast. Thanks, mate. I'm just reviewing my list after losing to my brother, the Eldar. Love you, and hope to get my list on your stream one day. Have you submitted the list to me, Sealpilled, or you were thinking of submitting it? You're a channel member, so submit the list after the stream is live. You'll get on. You won't have to wait long because you're a channel member. I like this list. I think the Terminators are the one thing that I would swap out. I like the fact that he's kept the characters low. Blade Guard get inherent rerolls 1s. I mean, I feel a little bit sad Sanguinary Guard hitting on 3s, but maybe you can shoot the Oath target. Ballistics get some rerolls. Gladiator Lancers get some rerolls. Jump Intercessors don't really need it because they do mortal wounds. I think this is a decent list. I like it. I like the fact that you actually tried to commit to a low number of characters. The only thing you could possibly do would be, like, if you did drop those Assault Terminators for a unit of Infiltrators, if you did want to add another character, you could add like a Chaplain to the Blade Guard to give them +1 to wound. You could add Jump Chaplain to Assault Intercessors to give them +1 to wound. I mean, or you could just add another Chaplain and Terminator Armor to one of the other squads. The Chaplain and Terminator Armor is very good because while he also gives +1 to wound, he also gives a 4-up against mortals, which I think is very, very meaningful. Especially if you're playing something that has a lot of mortal wounds. Guys, that is the end of tonight's stream. Thank you so much for watching. I really need to go deal with my kid that is apparently not going to ever go to sleep. So I hope you guys have a good evening. There'll be no live show next week, but I will have a painting video out next weekend. So hopefully if you see that on the channel, you can like it, you can watch it. I'd appreciate that. Have a great evening. Leave a comment. The next show then will be the 25th. And it's as simple as that. When the stream ends, you just need to put your list in a comment on this video. That's it. Have a great night, guys. Thanks again for watching. Peace, 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 peace. Sorry for all the interruptions, and take care. Good night.